Hello, welcome to day 14. I'm up in Puget Sound on Bainbridge Island, and it tends to be really cold and rainy. So I see blue sky, like I'm getting outside and doing this before the rain hits again tomorrow. Welcome autumn and fall. I love it, but yeah, there's no substitute for sun. So I am feeling really good today, better than yesterday, stepping it up. I did notice that I was retaining a lot of water after ingesting all that salt, so I've gone back to the tablet supplements, and I've always from the beginning noticed that they eliminate lightheadedness, so I'll be more consistent with taking them during the day, and I'm going to use my symptoms of lightheadedness as to whether or not I should take more or less instead of just a standard 2000 mil, which I think was just causing me to bloat, because my scale weight actually went up both 2 days in a row, and I was drinking a lot and not peeing very much and just kind of feeling a little bit lethargic. So live and learn. Be very aware of your body and how much electrolytes it actually needs. I slept, according to my scanner, really well last night. I was in bed for 10 hours. I actually slept for 7 hours. 5 of those were considered quality, and almost 4 of those were considered deep, which is like awesome. But I had that typical rhythm where it's like an hour on, hour off. It's up and down, really hard to get to sleep. And then anything wakes me up, any kind of discomfort from how position I'm sleeping, which is the usual. Last night I was feeling cold, and that made an issue. And just about anything would wake me up, but it tends to be on a 1 hour to 90-minute schedule. And it shows up clear as day on the graph when I wake up and fall asleep a lot. So yeah, did I get a lot of good rest? Awesome, I can tell a difference. But I crave having the kind of sleep where I go to bed and then I wake up in the morning and there's very little in between. Right now, that's not the case. I will continue to figure that out. I did some experimentation with positions this morning, and I think part of it just has to do with giving it time, you know? So working on that. The biggest, coolest thing by far was waking up this morning, and I could tell distinctly that my mind was sharp. I mean, really sharp. I had no problem with, there's no grogginess at all. It was like way clearer than any kind of caffeine or anything could possibly produce. And that was really cool. I mean, it felt really good. So yeah, my body's feeling good, but my mental clarity is higher than at any point outside of a fasted state. So I'm really hoping that is a enduring symptom of this fast. So summary on my daily check-in: I'm feeling good. Energy levels are good. Mentally, I'm good. Heck, I'm walking while I'm doing this because I'd rather walk. That's new. And emotionally, that's where the challenge is. But that's a different subject. On a quick note, something I haven't really addressed, I've been doing cold showers for over a year now. And that means cold. I walk into the shower, turn it directly on, and I command my mind to stay in control. No allowing myself or giving myself permission to shiver or freak out or swear at the walls or anything like that. Just let the water flow over me and remain totally calm. It's good to breathe deeply. That's natural response. So that's definitely not something to suppress. I let myself breathe as much as I want. But in terms of panic and such, nothing. And on the last fast, which I did not do well, I got cold, like really cold, deeply cold. And it was really annoying. So I was thinking this fast, I might not be able to sustain that if my body is really running cold. In fact, what it's done this time is exactly what it's meant to do. It has sustained my calibration to temperature, so I have not felt nearly as cold. I still feel it. I'm very sensitive to it. But last time, I was always cold. It was very unpleasant all the time. And when you're long-term fasting, there are enough things, unpleasant things and uncomfortable, yeah, you know what I mean, things on your plate. You don't need something else that makes it just harder overall. It's hard enough to begin with. So having temperature sensitivity not being difficult is a real blessing. It makes it a lot easier. So would I recommend starting cold showers at the same time you start a long-term fast? No. But if you're gonna do like a 10 or 15 day primer like I did, that might be a good time to give it a shot. And it takes practice. Definitely look at Wim Hof. He recommends easing into it. I do 100% cold showers because I've already eased into it. I've been through that whole process. So definitely something to look at in terms of dealing with temperature sensitivity. Another sort of side note thing, which is going to be relevant mostly just to people that are doing what I'm doing, is going to be something that I noticed with my Apple Watch. My Apple Watch tracks exercise when I tell it I'm exercising. It also will give me credit for exercise when it detects that my body is in an exercising state. So if it detects movement and a certain level of exertion, it'll credit me for that amount of exercise. It's always been perfectly accurate except during the fast. On those times when my body is really working, especially at night, and my HRV goes down to the teens and it's just rough, the Apple Watch is sort of fooled into thinking I'm exercising. And what I take away from that is a quality piece of technology saying, man, you must be working hard. Even though a lot of the time I'm just walking around the house or sitting down. The Apple Watch is detecting exertion, and that's real. When you're especially in the second phase of a fast, your body's working. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference whether you're out exercising or sitting in a recliner. Hopefully you're taking it easy if you're struggling. But don't take for granted how much effort your body is putting forward. And don't overexert, or else your body is going to fight back, and guess who's going to win? I'm going to end with a couple of thoughts on sustainability. For me, I do really well from the time I wake up, generally until around 3-4 o'clock, which is about where I'm at right now, actually. So I'm still feeling good at this point. Motivation is good. I can look at the fast in a very long-term kind of approach. Everything feels right. Physical symptoms tend to be very minor, and even my HRV and other scores are good. But time goes on during the afternoon and it can get kind of rough. Last night, after having a day of just like, oh, I'm so motivated and totally with this, and I'm gonna fast to the very last day effortlessly, about 4 o'clock hit and I got physically tired and emotionally tired, and it all triggered a bunch of negative emotions. And the next thing you know, I wasn't feeling that good. And I helped with dinner and I attended dinner. Actually, I made dinner. It was awesome. Like the best burgers ever. My kids don't know what they're getting. But I was tired and worn out. And I just wanted to break the fast and to have it be over with. There wasn't a whole lot of intelligent thinking in that particular thought process. It was more just, I hate this and such. So I've really given a lot of thought as to where these emotions come from. I have to consider that something that we already talked about. Rewiring the brain takes a basic period of around 21 days. I'm on day 14. The primary addiction that I am fighting is food, and fasting does a great job attacking that head on. So that's rough, and understandably so. So it makes sense that during the day, when I'm stronger physically, it's easier to deal with those sensations, those emotions. And then as the night goes on and my brain has been functioning and longer since I actually had some restful sleep, then all of a sudden, the consequences of those addictive pathways, those bad habits, those years of abuse of food and bad decisions, they start catching up, and they start catching up with a vengeance, and it doesn't feel good. So aside from breathing exercises, reading, mindfulness, and just doing my best to support myself during those times, I don't have any silver bullet that can make that go away. You can't use drugs when you're fasting, or else it negates the purpose. And it's rough, but it's worth, in this case, taking a deep breath and powering through. It's kind of like, you know, having a sprained ankle or such, one of those kind of nasty enduring injuries that you don't necessarily need painkillers for and such, and there's just no way around it except rest and time. I have given 2 full weeks of my life to this. I'm just getting to the point where I feel like I'm getting productive again. I'm working on a project on my truck. I have a 6.0 diesel Ford, and it's an engine that I love, a lot of good experience with, but I'm gonna do a kind of a basic overhaul on it. And it's technical, and it takes real skill to do it right. And I mean, I got my skill from YouTube and a lot of mistakes and practice, so it can be done, and I know what I'm doing now. But for the last couple of weeks, I've occasionally got on YouTube and such to get prep done for this job, and I just couldn't pull it together mentally. But this afternoon, man, I was all over it. I started watching videos and looking at pricing and answering different questions that I still don't have answers for. And next thing you know, 3 hours has gone by and I'm still just buried in this stuff. And I got about 3 hours into it and realized that my plan up to this point is complete. I don't have any research until I actually start breaking stuff down. Now it's just raring to pull that truck in and start taking it apart. My schedule doesn't have me starting until beginning of week after next, so about 10 more days. But the fact that I was able to focus on it, the fact that I'm ready to pull that truck in and start breaking it down, and I'm excited about it, and that my body is not responding with, yeah, right, I'm gonna kick your butt if you try this. Not at all. My body's like, let's do this. This is encouraging. So I'm on day 14, 2 full weeks, and it sure feels like I'm crossing the line. If I can get my sleep in line, as long as I keep religiously journaling every single day, doing the breathing work every single day, taking the cold shower every single day, no matter what schedule or activities arise, I think I'll pull this off. I think I should be clear. I think I'll be in a position where I can pull it off, and I'll want to, and it'll be a positive experience, and I'll end it without the need for therapy when I'm done. So that's what I'm doing. Feeling good. I mean, most people, from everything I've ever read, don't take 2 full weeks to get where I've arrived. But you know, it took me 2 weeks. I needed those 2 weeks. My body needed some extra time to get there. You probably won't. If you got there earlier, great. If it takes you longer than 2 weeks, great. Stick with it. As long as you give your body what it needs, it'll get there. And it's worth it. Stick with it. Don't give up. I'm here for you. And there's a lot of other people out there that are just as supportive. Reach out. We're out there somewhere. And good luck and happy not eating. Happy healing, I should say.